Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Sorcerer Dave's Flying Circus, where we provide you with only the very finest in pretend aeroplanes. Today is no exception. Before you stands the mighty Flight Factor 767-300ER. Today, we are going to be flying it from Heathrow, London to Cairo. Why are we going to be doing that? Because that route in real life is going to be closing very soon. Well, not quite. It's going to be closing for the 767s in the BA fleet. The Boeing 767, as you may know, is an old plane these days. British Airways are slowly retiring theirs from the long-haul routes, and Cairo is one such long-haul route. Within the next week or so, I believe the last 767 flying to Cairo and back is going to be put out of commission, sent off to Victorville in the US, and retired for good. So, really, now is your last chance to fly it, if you want to go by current real-world schedules anyway, which BA Virtual, who I fly with, do. So, that's why we're doing this today. The trip down there is about 4 hours, and it's an evening flight, so we'll probably get some wonderful X-plane night lighting once we arrive down there in Egypt. Unfortunately, that probably means that the majority of the flight down there is going to be a bit dull on the scenery side, because it's just going to be blackness out the window, because X-plane night is, well, very much like the real nighttime, incredibly dark. So it's just kind of going to be blackness out the windows and not a lot else. But never mind, that's just what the real flight does, and we'll follow what the real flight does, because that's the whole point, really. I believe the next flight back from Cairo, the one following this, is during the day. We may attempt that one. I may record it. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. But here we are at Heathrow, nevertheless. We're on VATSIM today. As you can see, there's other traffic milling about. They're all stock A320s, unfortunately, because I don't have a CSL package installed for VATSIM. Unfortunately, at the moment anyway. I need to kind of get on and fix that. I kind of forgot I didn't have it until earlier, a few minutes ago, and I logged into VATSIM and saw all these stock A320s floating about. But never mind. Because I have CSLs for Pilot Edge and IVAO, but not VATSIM. Basically, that's the problem. So, a lot of these A320s floating around, but not a big deal. Heathrow's kind of crowded at the minute, although, unfortunately, as per usual, I don't think there's any actual control right now at Heathrow. Let me just double-check that on VATSpy, but, yep, there isn't. There's 4 planes here, including ourselves. We are Speedbird 155 today, going to Cairo. We're also joined here at Heathrow by Speedbird 608 to LIEO. Don't know where that is. Probably somewhere in Italy. EIN 167, who would that be? Maybe Aer Lingus or something? I'm not sure. They're going to Dublin, and Shuttle 8 Uniform, who currently doesn't have a flight plan filed, but if I had to guess, they're probably going up to Scotland somewhere. Shuttle 8 Uniform rings a bell. I think it might be one of the ones that goes to Edinburgh or Glasgow. It's a BA call sign, so there you go. We just had one depart as well. It was Speedbird 610 Delta in an A320 on his way to Palermo. He's actually just took off before I started recording, so there you go. So without further ado, I think we'll get into the flight deck and get on with it. Although one further thing before I do go any further, I should just mention this livery. In honour of this time-honoured route that we are flying today, really old route, really, I think, London to Cairo. This one goes all the way back to before World War II, you know, BOAC, and then before that, Empire Airways and stuff like that. So it's a pretty fucking ancient route as like commercial aviation goes. And in honour of this, and in honour of the impending retirement of this aircraft, I decided to fly with a sort of classic livery today, and that is this one, the Landor Fly New Club Europe. I think it's City of Amsterdam is the name of the aircraft on the nose there. This is by Cranky65. You can download this livery on the xplane.org forums. He actually made this one on request by me, which is jolly nice of him, frankly, if you ask me. But it is publicly available. It's on the xplane.org forums. I highly recommend it, because as you can see, it looks bloody gorgeous. So there you are. Alright, anyway, without further mucking about, let's get in the flight deck, try and get everything set up, and I'll try not to take too freaking long, as per usual, before we actually get started up and going. So let's do that. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Speedbird 155. I've got a checklist today. This will probably help because I have not flown this aircraft in a little while and I've forgotten a few things, and hopefully the checklist will make up for that. But let's jump into the old captain's seat here and get to work, shall we? So I'm going to work through this as you usually do with these things. I'll do the kind of flow going like that. Although we need to start off with putting the battery on, standby power to auto, and external power on, and connect up these bus ties and the generators and stuff like that. So, now that's done, we can flip these IRSs to nav. I can switch this to heading. It says we've got 7 minutes remaining on the alignment. Yaw dampers, the EECs, these in the real plane are pretty much always kept on. The only time you ever see them off is when the plane's been freshly delivered from the factory, but apparently Flight Factor decided in their cold and dark actually those can be off, those can be on. In their cold and dark panel state to leave them off, but no worries, not a big deal. Go on through here, this is all good. Fuel pumps can stay off for now, I believe. Emergency exit lights can be armed. The wipers... Okay, let's put them on. Yeah, there's some cool windscreen wiper effects in this plane with the raindrops in the window, so why not take advantage of them? They do sound a little bit like a cat being repeatedly sick on the carpet, but I can live with it. Okay, yeah, we put the position lights on, and they... Well, no, we don't need to bother with the beacon just yet. Window heats can go on. No smoking, and fasten your bloody seatbelts if you know what's good for you. We'll use Auto 1 system on the pressurization. And moving down here, I suppose we can turn on the logo light. It's a bit dim outside, why not? Turn up the indicator lights there. And these boys, okay. Set U to auto, U to auto, U to auto, trim air, recirc fans. Set U to auto. Packs to auto. I believe we do have the ground air plugged in, so yeah, the packs are now wearing to life. ISO valves can all be opened, as can the bleeds for the APU and both the engines. And that's the overhead panel dealt with, I think, for now, really. We're still waiting on the alignment. 6 more minutes to go for the IRSs. I'm going to go ahead and bring on some panel lights here and light up the standby instruments and stuff while we're at it so I can see a bit better what's going on in here. It's a bit dim, a bit dark. I'm also filming this in the middle of the day when my computer screen is situated right in front of a massive window, so the sunlight from outside is actually making it difficult to see what's on the bloody screen. So, okay, FMC time. So pause in it. We can take the GPS position, paste it in there. Ref airport is EGLL, if I can, thank you. EGLL. Route is EGLL. Well, let's see. I've got a company route, thank God, because this is a very long one to type all the way out ourselves. So EGLL HECA01. And cross our fingers. Invalid Airway in flight plan. Are you taking the piss? I do not want to have to enter all of this manually. I really, really don't. I mean, I will if I have to, but I really don't. AirAx 1605. Yeah, the AirAx up to date. It must be an Airway in there it doesn't like for some reason. Oh, that's such a pain. It's probably because my SimBrief AirAx is only 1603 and this is 1605. Well, that is a monumental pain in the arse. Well, okay. We are Speedbird 155, not 155. Steady there. Our runway for today is going to be 27 left. Go ahead and activate that for now, and I better go to the route page and... Oh, hang on a minute, it's loaded it all anyway. Well, fair enough. Of course, it's done a bunch of directs where the airways probably would have been. I really don't know what to make of this now. I feel like I need to cross-check this with the flight plan just to make sure it hasn't screwed something up here. I didn't think it would actually load the plan full stop if it didn't like one of the airways, so this is a bit strange. Right, looks good-ish. About as good as it's going to get, anyway. Wow. Alright. So let's just whack in the departure now. We're going off 27 left, as you can see here, which I've just unselected like a champ. And we're going to be taking the Detling to Golf. Yep, our first waypoint's Detling, therefore the Detling to Golf. Nice and simple. Okay, that's done. Route's done. We can go to Perth Init. And, oh yeah, crap, we better load the plane, huh? Let's see. Passenger number for today is 169 passengers. By no means a full house today, as you can see. And cargo weight is, we'll go with 9,100 pounds. There we go. And fuel weight, this is the important bit, we want fuel, is going to be 59791 pounds. 59791. Big old heap of fuel. Right. Plane is now loading. This may take a little time, but on the other hand, our IRS is still aligning. So, really now all I've got to do is sit around and twiddle my thumbs, honestly. The Flight Factor 767 is a pretty nice plane, by the way. I think you'll have to forgive that little hiccup down there with the Airways. I think there was an AirAC difference between the route I generated and the AirAC data that the plane currently has installed. The plane's AirAC is currently more up to date than SimBrief's. I need to fix that, but that one's on me, I'm afraid. Mind you, this plane does have one or two little glitches, but they are very minor. One of them is probably going to come up during this Detling set, and I'll explain it as it happens when we have a little look through the legs page. But we can't do that until the VNAV's been generated after we've done the performance info. So I'm kind of waiting now. But I really like the Flight Factor 767. I think it's a fantastic aircraft, and to be honest with you, I think a slightly criminally underrated one. If I'm being completely honest, I mean. The IXEG 737 I really like, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely the flavour of the month at the minute, and everyone cannot stop heaping praise on the damn thing. And as much as I love it, and as excellent a product as I think it actually is, frankly at the minute it's glitchier than this thing is. I've seen a lot of comments to the effect that, oh great, X-Plane finally has a proper, fully simulated glass cockpit airliner, and I'm like, hang on, just one cotton-picking minute there. We've had the 767 now for a little while, and this thing is just as good, if not slightly better, in its current state. If you're ever thinking about buying this, if you're on the fence about it, I would absolutely say, yeah, get it. I mean, it doesn't have the same eye candy or the nice sounds as the IXEG 737. I'll give you that, but I don't want to make this a versus that conversation, you know. But they're two different airliners that do two different jobs at the end of the day. But you know, I think this plane probably doesn't get enough press. Frankly, I don't think it gets the press it deserves. Okay, looks like ooh, that was the wrong button to press. Looks like the IRS has finished aligning. Jolly good stuff. Now we're just waiting on the fuel to get loaded. As you can see, it's counting up there. We want to get to 59,000 pounds, so it's loading pretty fast. Faster than I imagine it would in real life, for sure. But yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to fly this today, actually, because I just sort of thought, you know what, this thing doesn't get enough press. I need to do a BA virtual route anyway this month, and this Cairo route's closing pretty soon, so why don't we do that? And we can kill like 3 birds with 1 stone. So yeah, the Flight Factor 767, I think it's bloody great. That's why I'm flying it today. Having said that, as these things always tend to happen, it'll probably screw me over and do something really stupid. Or I will accidentally make it do something very stupid, and then I will blame the plane unfairly, but, you know, that's kind of how these things often go. It's sort of like, oh, this plane's fantastic, it's fantastic, really, you absolutely love it, I highly recommend it, and then it just drops out of the sky for some reason. But no, seriously, I've put a lot of hours on this plane now, and it's a definite favourite of mine. Very stable. It doesn't have, you know, weird crashes and things. It doesn't have a lot of bugs. It gets the job done. It's very, very nice. So yeah, are we loaded up yet? I do believe we are. Let me just double check that. Plane is loaded. Hooray, finally. Okay, so 0 fuel weight. Enter that. Gives us our gross weight as well. We've got the fuel in there. Reserves today. What are our reserves? Let me find that out in the OFP document, which you guys can't see right now. Unfortunately. Let's see. Our reserves today are about £10,000. Our cruise altitude to begin with is going to be flight level 230. We're actually going to step climb at Dover up to 350, and then much further along the route on our way to Egypt we're going to climb up to 370 as well. So, but I don't know why the initial pre-step climb altitude is so low, but it is. So we're just going to roll with it. Our cost index. Let me think. I believe BA SOP is to do cost index 0 during the climb, and then once you get to cruise, we increase it. However, I'm pretty sure this plane doesn't accept cost index 0, so the best we can do is cost index 1. And now it's just told me enable next altitude, which is probably not good. Hopefully that's not going to mess with the VNAV too much. Takeoff. Going to be flaps 5. Thrust, center of gravity, there you go, it's 15%, trim of 4.5. So let's go all the way down there. It's about 4.5. We can, I'm not going to derate this. We don't really need to, frankly. We're pretty heavy on this trip as well, so I'm not going to derate. And, oops, daisy, we need to put the ref speeds on, so there we go. V1 135, VR 142, V2 150. That's reasonably fast for a rotate speed, even in this plane. This aircraft does have very powerful engines. I mean, if it's lightly loaded on a short haul trip, it just leaps into the sky and climbs like a bat out of hell. It's quite incredible, actually. But we've got a lot of junk in the trunk today, so to speak. So anyway, there you go. Pre-flight is now complete. I'm going to go over to the legs page here, and I'm going to try something. I'm probably going to have to edit something down there in the legs page in a second, but we'll give it a go. Flight director, left and right. Arm the auto throttle. In fact, I don't think we technically should be doing that yet. We're supposed to arm that just as we're entering the runway, but we'll set our V2 speed on here, which is 142. Oh, no, it's not. It's 150, and it's already set because Flight Factor is magical like that. Okay, yeah. Okay, runway heading is 271 at Heathrow, if I'm not mistaken, for 27 left. Can just double check that on the chart. It is indeed 271. My memory didn't fail me today. Our initial climb altitude, since there's no ATC at the moment, although I could do with just constantly checking that, frankly. You never know when one's going to pop up. This is the weird. I've done a lot of flying on Pilot Edge recently, where I either get guaranteed ATC or none whatsoever, and it's very strange being in the world in between, where you never know if you're going to get ambushed by ATC. But yeah, I'm going to climb up to 6,000, which is transition altitude here in southern UK, and we'll climb up to that, and then we'll go higher than that afterwards if needs be. Now here's the moment of truth. LNAV. VNAV unavailable. Right, yeah, now here's the thing. Right, so if we go down here, we look at our constraints here. We've got 3 constraints, all with 6,000 feet. The Flight Factor 767 does not like this. Am I moving? I think I've just deleted one of them. Maybe we can get away with that. We can indeed. Okay. It doesn't like having 3 constraints like that, all at the same altitude, one after another, for some reason. God knows why. Flight Factor developers could probably tell you why, but I couldn't. The only thing we've got to remember is that we need to be 6,000 maximum at Detling, and since I've set 6,000 in the MCP anyway, we're not going to go higher than that, so that's actually okay. You just got to engage the brain a bit and not rely on what it says in the VNAV page for the legs. And it'll be fine, but it's just a weird little kink with the VNAV in this plane. It doesn't like having 3 constraints all the same altitude next to each other like that, so you just got to bear that in mind and use your own noggin as opposed to just relying on the computers all of the time. We'll set those to automatic. That's a good trick, by the way, in any of these Boeing planes. try and, unless it's an old one like the 737-300 where you can't do it on the ground, try and engage LNAV and VNAV on the ground. If they arm correctly, that means you're all good to go down here. If they don't arm correctly, then probably means there's something that needs fiddling with. So, okay. Let's get these doors and stuff shut. Oh, come on. Where's the button? It's not been that long since I've been in this plane. It's airplane. There we go. Close all the doors. Ground equipment. All of you can get lost. The GPU can stay for now while I get the APU started. And that bottom left fuel pump there, that's actually come on automatically, which was why it doesn't have a pressure light on it, but we can switch it on anyway. In fact, we can switch on all the fuel pumps in preparation for getting ourselves started up and going. And at this juncture, it'd be a good time to do a checklist. So we'll do the before start checklist. Inspection and security, completed, I guess. Oxygen, checked 100%. Not quite, actually. You can check the oxygen in this, I forgot. There you go, oxygen tested 100%. Air conditioning is set. Well, technically, no, it's not actually, because these packs need to go off prior to our engine start. Now the air conditioning is set. Instruments have been set and cross-checked. The altimeters I did not set. I'm a bad boy. I forgot about that. What's the altimeter here? It's 1002. Okay, set on the main. Sync that across the other side, and we'll set it on the standby as well. Ooh. If I can find the click spot. Ooh, there we go. 1002 on both of them. There we go. Right. BA virtual client. Ah, yes, I better do that before I forget. Brace yourselves for the loud beep. There it is. Okay, there you go. That'll get my position reports and everything up and running, and let BA virtual know I'm actually flying for them. Okay, parking brake is set. It is now, yeah. And our APU gen can go on. And the APU itself is actually online. We can disconnect external power there. Always press that button before disconnecting the GPU outside, because otherwise you'll damage the socket, and that's not good. So there you go. That has been disconnected. We can also get rid of it in here now. Right. Ground equipment outside is all buggered off. Briefing. Well, we're taking the Detlin 2 Golf. There's not really much else to it. Insufficient fuel. Oh dear, we're going to have one of those days where it just insists I have insufficient fuel for the entire trip. Trust me, we have sufficient fuel. It's fine. But that's the other thing with this plane. It sometimes likes to throw insufficient fuel messages at you. And it'll spam them as well in the FMC for quite some time. It's a little bit irritating. But never mind. Okay. Fuel is checked. Set. Cross feeds are off. We have, there you go, 29.9 in both sides, left and right. 59.6 total quantity. Thrust is set down here. No D-rates for us. Thank you very much. We're using full takeoff power. And the FMC's loaded. Speeds are set as well. 135, 142, 150, and 150 up here on the MCP is set. That is the before start checklist complete. Let's go to push and start. Passenger signs are on. Hydraulics. I believe we can actually pressurize these before pushing back, so let's go ahead and do that. I could be wrong there, but I think we can. And let's see. Beacon goes on. Transponder. Oh, let's see. Well, we'll just squawk 2000 for now and keep it on stand. Well, actually, you know what? This is actually Heathrow, so we can squawk altitude, I think. If we like. Doors are closed. Flight deck door is locked. Start approved. Pack selectors are off. Now, I'm not using Tugmaster today, and I can tell you the reason for that. It's because Tugmaster's buggy, and it's been causing the IXDG to misbehave, and I think it was doing some similar stuff with this aircraft as well. So we're actually going to use the built-in pushback feature, which I've got to be honest with you, I've never ever used before. It's a bit strange, but we're going to give it a go. Pushback. So the way this works is we get a little pushback tug here. And he's going to lock in here. And basically the way this will work is I then push back by applying throttle. And the more throttle I apply, the faster he pushes me back. And I actually manually steer myself back onto the taxiway. This means because the throttle is being used for the pushback tug, I can't start my engines during pushback. So that's a bit strange, but we'll have to deal with it. So he's locked in. I'm going to increase my throttles here. Hopefully he should start pushing us back. I am going to have to release the parking brake first, however. There we go. Now we're cooking on lighter fluid. Here we go. Right. Now I just got to steer the plane onto the taxiway. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. If you've seen any of my pushbacks before, you'll know this is the truth. You know, unless I'm using GSX and prepared, and even then, it can sometimes do some pretty funky stuff. Alright. Let's see if I can get this bang on by cheating and using the external view. Although, frankly, I don't think it's really cheating. It's not as if the bloody pilot steers its own pushback in real life, so that's what the bloody tug's for. I asked a question, actually, on a stream once. I was, like, wondering how fast you could get one of these tugs to go, because they must have so much goddamn horsepower to push these planes around. Apparently, they're limited. Something to do with the gears and stuff like that, but apparently they accelerate stupendously fast. They can do 0 to 60 in, like, no time at all, which I think is absolutely hilarious. I just mental image in my head of just racing around an empty airport in pushback tugs. Mate, you could just... you know, forget NASCAR. I mean, forget Formula 1. That's where it's at. Oh, shit. You know what? The other thing I haven't done is I haven't tuned to Unicom. I forgot we're on VATSIM until I saw that plane over there. Whoops. Okay, that's about as good as it's going to get, I think. There we go. All right. Mr. Pushback Tug... I think that's how we get rid of you, isn't it? Yep, there we go. Okay, parking brake can go on, and now we can go through the engine start sequence as soon as I remember to tune Unicom. 122 decimal 8. Okay, we'll now get advisory messages and we'll send them. To tell you the truth, I usually don't type out advisory stuff for taxiing. I only type out stuff for entering runways or queuing up for runways and that sort of thing. These guys don't need to fucking know what taxi route I'm taking, you know. They really don't. There we go. Yeah, we got the chat appearing at the top there. Quite obnoxiously, frankly. I don't really like Escort Box. I think it's a bit shit, but it's the best we've got, I'm afraid. So anyway, let's get these engines started. We'll start number 2 first. So set that to ground. Okay, N2 is coming up. I'm going to double check. Yeah, packs are off. Good. Which looks like it's coming up quite slowly. But it's okay. Yeah, there we go. Now fuel goes in. They'll start quite hot, these Pratt & Whitneys. Quite hot indeed, I've noticed. But we should be okay. Yeah, just. Phew. Of course, BA didn't ever use the Pratt & Whitney equipped 767. They used the Rolls-Royce ones, but Flight Factor haven't modelled that. They've only modelled the Pratt & Whitneys. I believe in future they're planning on adding more variants, which will include the Rolls-Royce, because there's actually files in the textures and models section for the aircraft in the files if you go poking around for the GE and Rolls-Royce variants. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, I think I heard start to cut out up there, so start number 1 as well. Ten, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm just waiting for it to get to that little purple mark there. I'll do. We got a good start on number 1 by the looks of things as well. Again, it's getting very, very hot, but it's okay. We're not on fire. It's all good. Alright, that's both the gens online now. We can take out the APU bleed, and we can also take out the APU full stop. Goodbye, sir. Your services were most useful. Hopefully we won't need you again later, but, well, you know, aside from the taxi back in at Cairo, packs can come on. Left engine hydraulics are still pressurizing, I think, there. As the engine spools up and everything. But anyway, it looks like we're good. Only ICAS message now is the parking brake, as it should be. Taxi lights. That's actually the turn-off, so on the taxi light there. Okay, after start checklist, air conditioning is set. Engine anti-ice is not actually required today, I don't believe. It might look a bit miserable out there, and it is, but it's not very cold. At least I don't believe so. Yeah, TAT is 13 degrees. That's not too chilly. Not icing conditions, I don't think. APU selector is off. Recall, we can just quickly check that. Checked. All we've got is the parking brake. Auto brake goes to RTO. And the windows are closed and locked. Ground crew clearance is, well, yeah, we've got clearance. And flaps are now set to 5. We can do a quick flight controls check while we're here. Left, right. So you can see the flaps extending as well. The animations on this plane for all the sort of flaps and slats and things are absolutely fantastic as far as I'm concerned. They're really smooth. That is looking very good indeed. Go back up here, we can see the rest of the flight control surfaces. Up, ski, down, ski. Left and right on the rudder and the tiller. All looks good to me. Let's get rid of all of you. And let's go ahead and taxi. So, taxi route. Let's see. We're going to be going down along here, down on Alpha. Then at Dasso. And then we'll take a left. Well, I think we'll cross. Bloody hell, let's see. I'm not sure which side we're supposed to taxi on. There's 2 taxiways leading out of here, and one's for people inbound and one's for people outbound. I think we're going to be want to be on the outside taxiway, possibly. I'm not sure how it works at Heathrow, to be honest with you. I've rarely been here when it's been actually controlled, so we'll just go ahead down here on Alpha, and then we'll take a left onto, well, continuing on Alpha until we get to Lomond. And then we'll continue past Lomond to Alpha Whiskey 2. And then we'll take a right onto November 2 Echo. God, the bloody taxiways are a mess at Heathrow, along with all the names for holding points and things. Yikes. Anyway. Not as bad as Charles de Gaulle, I will say that right now. Charles de Gaulle is still my least favourite airport to taxi around ever. But Heathrow is also a bit messy. But never mind. I can live with it. Aerosoft's version of Heathrow and X-Plane is quite good looking, so it's got that going for it. My frame rate's not brilliant, by the way, you may have noticed. It's because we're in the middle of London. Even in X-Plane, that's a bit rough, especially with the current weather and the fact that I'm using GB Pro and photo scenery. It's, yeah. And HD mesh on top of all of that, I think, as well, so, yeah, it's a bit on the heavy side when it comes to your frame rate, not to mention we're on VATSIM, there's loads of traffic everywhere, but, yeah. So here we go. We're taxiing along. Run through the before takeoff stuff. Flight controls we've already checked. Load sheet has been received. Vital data has been set. Flaps are checked at 5. Exterior lights are as required at the moment. Just the taxi light on for now, as well as the beacon, etc. And, well, that's entering runway checks, really. That's when we put the strobes on, etc. So... Okay, here we are. We're at November 2 Echo for 27 left. We're going to roll on, take off. Let me just Verify the approach is clear, and it does appear to be. We're supposed to look out the window. And, yeah, we'll get going. Strobes. Big lights. Everything. All of the lights. Auto throttle can be armed. Our exterior lights are set. The transponder is set. Cabin crew. Seats for takeoff, please. Ah, I had a bunch of cabin crew announcements in here I completely forgot about. Blummy heck. Alright.
Flight attendants, seats for takeoff.
There you go. I guess we'll use them on the return trip. Never mind. Okay. Everything looks good. We will crank up the window wipers. We're about to get going here, and let's do this. So, throttle up to about 70% N1. Seems pretty high, but that's what you throttle up to. I don't believe we hold on the brakes for this. %ish N1, and thrust. EPR hold set. Toga is engaged. Off we go, folks. 80 knots. See you, London. It was nice. We're going somewhere warmer now. V1. Rotate. Rotates quite quickly, this bloody thing. It's quite sensitive. Gear up. Bring the flaps up to flap 1. Slowing down now. I'm not completely chasing the flight director at this point. Okay, LNAV and VNAV are both armed and ready to go. So let's start this turn. FMC message probably telling me I'm unable the next altitude. That's fine. We'll take the flaps completely up. Still hand flying at this point. This plane does have a very nice flight model, so I'm quite keen to hand fly it when I get the opportunity. I think we'll kill the older screen wipers now. We're out of the muck for the minute. You can have them on below 250 knots, I believe. At which point you better switch them off for their own good. And yours. Okay. It's the initial turnout complete. At this point I am going to engage the autopilot. FMC insufficient. Yeah, it's the insufficient fuel spam. That's all right. Oh, I did forget about the old clock there. Never mind. We'll start it now. Hope nobody notices. So you've arrived a little ahead to schedule there. Oh yes. Well, you know we like to be efficient. Didn't forget the clock or anything. And up we go. I believe we're leveling off at 6,000 now, as per the constraints of the standard instrument departure. Which we really ought to be following, let's be honest. If there's no ATC, you are supposed to follow the published procedure. That's the whole point of the published procedure. Nice view of London here on the way out. I think it's the Detling departures down at Dover that give you this fantastic view of the city as you cruise on out. That, I believe, will be the flight attendant, who I forgot existed, telling me I didn't do the cabin safety demonstration.
Captain, I regret to inform you that the chief flight attendant has been killed.
How's that for cabin safety? Thank you. Right. Oh, God. Never gets old. Never gets old. That does, though. Okay, now making the left turn inbound Detling. Crank up the range on here a bit. We can actually turn on the weather radar, actually. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's turn that on, and we'll turn the terrain on the other side. And turn on the data as well. There you go, there's the weather radar painting its loveliness all over the screen. I'm going to turn the brightness on it down just a tad, though. Sync up the heading bug. Like a good pilot. And yep, we are now inbound Detling as per the SID. We're going to stay at 6,000 feet for now. Then climb up as per the SID and everything. And then we're going to be well and truly on our way. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with that beautiful view down there of London. As we speed on out of here. Look at it. You can see just the Thames off in the background there. So we climb off into the dusk. Oh, I think it's just fantastic. Bloody marvellous, if you ask me. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you somewhere in the Mediterranean Ocean, if I had to guess. Yeah, probably there. As we plan our approach into Egypt. For now, enjoy the views, enjoy the service, etc., etc. And I will catch you later.
Free